Alright, so today we're going to talk about how to adjust your inner fenders to fit for a lowered 84 C10. So this one has a 2.5 inch drop spindle on the front, and it has a one coil removed, so it looks to be about 4.5 inches lower. And the problem we were running into is the tire was hitting the inner fender pretty bad. So we looked around, and it seemed like the only way to do this is to remove the inner fenders or move the inner fenders up. So what we've done here is we've cut the inner fender out and moved the stock inner fender up 4 inches. So you can see where we sectioned it here, and then across the top and down there, and then just pulled the whole thing up, welded it in, and then we cut this shape out and welded it to the edge of the inside of the fender here, and then we went down to the other edge here. So I'll show you on this side. So this is with the 4 inches removed, and so now you'll have a gap from here to here, which matches the distance we took out of here, which is 4 inches. So that shape right there from our template, we cut in there, and then we just set everything in there, tack everything in place, and then weld it to this inside, and then weld it back to this lip where the inside of the fender. So we draw our lines to get it straight after we section it, and then tuck the tail in under there, and then we'll weld all this up. It's just set in there right now. Obviously it's not even lined up, but this side is going to be very problematic because we've got the blower motor, and we've got the AC box and everything. So with this, you can see where the new piece is, way under here, and this is not going to work out too well. Probably what I'm going to do is cut the piece right here, get this inner structure all welded in, and then lay the inner fender up, and then mark where it's hitting along the heater box, and then I'll cut what I need to. Let's see, which way am I? Okay. Oops. So this is how it goes in the truck. So that blower motor is going to be somewhere in here. So probably what I'll do is cut it here, and then here, and then bend that down and that down, and then get a shape I need and try to fit it back in there. So this side, like I say, is going to be pretty challenging. That's why I always saved it for last. So we want to get a feel for what we're doing over there, and then try this side. But yeah, so that's where we're at on this thing. Once I get all that tidied up, and then I got to put the O2s in it, and then I got to wire the brake for the TCC. But I mean, now looking at it, initially nobody would notice that this thing's been moved up 4 inches. So I think it turned out pretty good, and luckily I didn't make all the stuff to mount all this, because that really would have thrown it off. And so this is how much we cut out above the fender there. So I think it goes like this. So that's how much we cut out, and then there's our lines to line it up. So pretty good chunk of metal taken out. And then the battery box, I don't know what I'm gonna do about the battery box. That's I think that's the hole for the battery box. So now it's 4 inches higher, so I don't think the battery is gonna fit right there. But yeah. So let's see, we got the transmission in the 69, and now it moves under its own power in and out of the shop, which is amazing. So I don't have to worry about it rolling down the hill and running over me. And we got our $100 U-joint in to go from this drive shaft to the 12 bolt. We got the Bronco tuned, quadra steer sitting up the hill, and then we got the red truck retuned. So the red truck is a lot better now with the T4 S480 on it and the BTR truck cam. So we didn't put it on the dyno because we pretty much know what it's going to do anyway, because that turbo made 674 on Little Red, and then this one made 671 last time. I think it's making a little more boost now too, but we had to lean up idle and cruise because of the cam, the change in duration, and then since this turbo and setup spools so much quicker, it peak torque now is at 4,800, whereas before it was like 53 or 5,600, something like that was our peak torque before. And we had to pull 5 degrees of timing out down low because, like I say, it's coming into boost so much faster now that we were having some spark knock down low. So got all that cleaned up, and you know, he redid the fuel map. You know, everything was pretty close. So we just did some driving on it. I drove, and then Michael was cataloging and watching everything so we could get the spark knock out and get our fuel dialed in, because when I dynoed it, I didn't have the wide bands, the narrow bands set up on this one. I just had one in the crossover. So now I've got one in the crossover and then one in the downpipe, and then we have it turned off on the one in the crossover, and it's making global changes off the one in the downpipe. So again, it goes in a closed loop, and then it will allow it to add or take away fuel based on where it's at. So he got all that dialed in, and runs a lot better now. That T4, you know, just for a big heavy truck, before, you know, just driving and get on it, it was like, man, you know, this thing just does not feel fast at all, you know, for almost a 700 horsepower truck. But now with this T4 turbo on it, and the new cam with the less duration on it, it really comes on up. That thing spools pretty quick, and then it gets this big heavy truck rolling. So like I say, it's not as instant as the quadra steer over there with just a stock 6.0 and a 78-75 on a T4 and stock exhaust. That thing is instant. I think he said on the dyno it started spooling about 1200. So I mean, that thing is really good. But you know, this thing is a lot better now. On the Bronco, he got it dialed in, got it where it'll crank up and run and not have the idle swing and everything. And when the AC turns on. So the shifter and everything worked pretty good on this thing. I just used the 3 on the tree and then made a rod, so it's reverse, neutral, drive. So that turned out pretty good, and I'm glad that now I can drive it in and out of the shop, because like I say, pushing it was kind of sucked. Yeah, there's the shift rod I use right there is $40 at Summit, and then I had to weld the key to that so it stays on this one, because with the tree on the tree, that would push down and go between these two levers so you could have your 3 speeds. But now it's just welded so it runs that. But yeah, got a lot to do on this one, but you know, we're doing what we can with what we got. Man, if you look over here, these inner fenders come way up on this thing. Look at that. I mean, I'd never noticed it before. This 84 is the first one I've encountered where you lower it and it doesn't fit. But I mean, look how high this comes up compared to that one, and then the orientation of the heater box. I wonder if we can integrate that onto this 84. But anyway, I just want to give an update on the 84 here with the fenders, and I got the transmission in the 69, and got the Bronco and the red truck tuned in. So hopefully we'll get this thing finished up and be able to get some driving videos and everything of this one.